We have spent hours upon hours over the last little while talking about who could start for BYU this season at quarterback. Well, why don't we hear from the three guys who were in the mix? McCae Hillstead, Treyson Bourguet, and Bear Bachmeier all address the media, and let's just put it this way, they're all ready for the fight.
You are Locked On Cougars, your daily podcast on the BYU Cougars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into Locked On Cougars, your daily podcast focused on the BYU Cougars. I'm Jake Hatch, executive producer at the KSL Sports Zone in Salt Lake City, Utah, and a 13-year credentialed media member at BYU. I am your resident expert and insider, your host here on this podcast, and as always, thank you for making Locked On Cougars your first listen of the day. All right. It is time for you guys to be able to hear from the horse's mouths themselves, to make that expression, because all three of BYU's contending quarterbacks, McCae Hillstead, Treyson Bourguet, and Bear Bachmeier, addressed the media after media availability earlier on this afternoon. And I want you guys to be able to hear from themselves without really any editing or whatsoever. You'll get to hear their entire media sessions and what they had to say. We'll start off with McCae Hillstead, get his thoughts on being the most diminutive of the quarterbacks at 5'10". And without further ado, here are McCae's thoughts on what he hopes to accomplish if he wins BYU starting quarterback position.
How was first day?
Good. Yeah, really good. First day back, going against the defense, which we did a little bit during the summer, but good experience. You learn a lot of really simple things, and it's good getting back into the swing of things, really. So good day. Yeah.
How are you treating this competition? It's kind of like all three of you guys at the same level. Are you hoping to differentiate yourself, and how will you do that?
Yeah, I think for me, just playing my game. I think that's the same for all the other guys. You can't try to be anybody else other than yourself. So just put that all on tape, be your best self, and try to go get it.
Where do you feel like you've improved the most since last year when you were going through your first fall camp here?
Yeah, for me, it was just, getting reps and just experience with the guys. Obviously, coming from a different offense at Utah State, we were RPO heavy, and not that we don't do that here. It's just a little bit more pro style. So just figuring some of those things out and getting versed in some of that stuff, and mastery of the offense has been big for me.
How well have you mastered the playbook?
I don't think when I'm out there, I'd say that's where I'm at. I can get guys where they need to be going. So I think full mastery, really.
You got a chance to make a few starts at Utah State before coming here. How's that experience helped you in kind of competing for the top job at quarterback here?
Yeah. So Utah State, true freshman season, obviously you learn a lot. Good things, bad things, and I had ups and downs over the course of that season, but I think learning the speed of college football is a big thing, because it is different for sure. So learning that, and then obviously learning from some of the mistakes that you make, but then still going out there and playing your game when it comes down to it. So that was a big thing, just gaining that confidence while I started a few games up there.
How do you get
most about this offense and this game?
Yeah, I think we're super versatile. We incorporate a lot of things. I think it was talked about in our quarterback room. There's opposing teams or other coaches that will talk to our coaches and talk about how multiple we are in our playbook and how many different things we do, which I think makes it really hard to game plan us. Because of that versatility, we're able to attack all sides of the field. We're super good up front with the O-line, super good run game, and then we have elite receivers as well. So super versatile, like I said.
How do you guys push each other? You're all friends off the field, but it's a competition as well. How do you guys make each other better?
Yeah, I think just positivity between all the guys is big. We're all super positive with one another because, like I said earlier, when it comes down to it, ultimately you're competing against yourself. You have your things that you're working on personally. So we're all super positive with one another. I think we're all super focused on how we can all improve, and I think that's pretty much what gets us rolling in the right direction.
How did Jake's situation as it unfolded affect your preparation and mindset the last 3 months?
Yeah, obviously we love Jake. Situation was, pretty crazy, but I think when it comes down to it, stay ready soon enough to get ready is my thing. So I'm, even last season where I wasn't going to see the field really. Gary was the backup. You prep like you're the starter regardless. You're knowing all the coverages of the opposing team, knowing obviously what you have going in the install to each week, and that's just my mindset. Always stay ready so you don't have to rush and be like, oh, what am I doing? It's like, no, I've known what I'm doing, so it's really just second nature when I get out there.
How do you combat being not the tallest quarterback on the field?
Yeah, it's how I've been my whole life, really. So
Yeah.
I think obviously there's just things that I've figured out, and I see it the way I see it, and it doesn't slow me down, because obviously I can't just grow automatically. I can't choose that, right? It's out of my control. So
Yeah.
I think really just figuring out the game how I have up to this point all throughout high school at Utah State and now here, and just being confident in my ability, which I am, and just going out there and trying to win.
Watching Jake for an entire season, win 11 games, what did you learn from him? What are the positive things you want to pick up from him?
Yeah, something about Jake, that I touched on is just, the willingness to win. Jake's super competitive, and I thought that was super cool. Obviously, never falter doing a 2-minute situation because he just wanted to win. I think sometimes you can get distracted with how can I manage this, how can I manage that, but ultimately the goal is just, okay, how can we win here, how can we get it done? And that was something that I thought was really cool that Jake had.
That's McKay Hillstead. Coming up next, Bear Bachmeier had his opportunity for the first time in front of BYU's media corps to express his thoughts on why he transferred from Stanford, why he thinks he can contend as a true freshman for the starting quarterback position, and a whole lot more. We'll get to that next right here on the special edition of Locked On Cougars. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at 5 Hour Energy. Now, many of you out there, it's summertime. We're out on the golf course. And if you're trying to get some extra energy, well, our friends with the 5 Hour Energy Transfusion, it brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink without the alcohol into a quick, energizing shot, giving you that extra energy to power through 18 or potentially however many holes you're trying to play that day. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with your friends, this is a hole-in-one for your energy game. And obviously, all of us need that extra boost, even if we're on the course or off, to get us through the day from time to time. And that's where our friends at 5 Hour Energy come into the mix. Obviously, a number of us, when you're out on the course, you do some crazy things. Like you've talked about weird golf courses you've played, crazy shots you've seen. Well, you could potentially, play better if you had our friends at 5 Hour Energy in your back pocket. Golf is about the good times with good people and good flavors, of course. And with the grape ginger lime flavor that gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down that beverage cart, get started today by going and getting it yourself. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that's the number 5hourenergy.com. Use the promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. Offers only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on any subscription orders as well. Whether you're meeting up with your friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order the transfusion flavored. I keep butchering that. 5 Hour Energy shot today and do it with our friends over at 5 Hour Energy. Thank you once again for making Locked On Cougars your first listen of the day. Time now to let you guys hear from Bear Bachmeier, 18 years old, but this is a kid who has got a really, really good presence about him when it comes to media availability, and he doesn't shy away from throwing some jabs at his older brother, Tiger, who's a wide receiver on this BYU football team. Here you go. Here's Tiger Bachmeier and why he thinks he can truly contend as an 18-year-old true freshman to be BYU's QB1.
Day one of fall camp, what's it been like just kind of being in the competition for the starting quarterback? I mean, how are you in terms of your comfort level with the offense?
Yeah, it's been great. Obviously the goal is to compete, and I think being in this environment elevates everybody's game. And yeah, I feel like the day went well, and acclimated pretty well, so just got to keep stacking days.
How has this split up reps, and have you gotten a chance to go with the first team line today?
Yeah, split up reps pretty equally, and again, it's a competition, and so coach has got to divvy it up and make that decision with an equal amount of reps. So it's been well.
Do you feel like you have all different strengths that you can bring to the offense, or pretty similar?
Yeah, I think I think we're all capable of making every throw, and we're all capable of using our legs when needed. So I think it's a great fit for A-Rod's offense, and yeah.
Did you think when you came here that you would be in competition for the starting job right away?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you go to school or any environment, you want to play, you want to compete. Obviously circumstances arose and kind of opens up an opportunity, so kind of got to take it and do your best with that.
How crazy it been for you over the last 8 months? You went to Stanford, they ended up here. What's the journey been like so far for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think everything happens for a reason. I learned a lot. everything's a process, and I think it's everything happened for a reason. I think I'm in a good spot, and I'm really excited.
How challenging is Roderick's offense to learn since you got here in May?
Yeah, I was fortunate to be at Stanford and got to experience college football and obviously learn from a great offensive mind, and so coming over to Coach A-Rod's, obviously there's a lot of complexity in a lot of offenses, and so getting acclimated to the terminology, but you find ways to kind of simplify the game and simplify the playbook, and kind of just play free when you're out there.
Are there specific ways where the offense fits your individual strengths as a quarterback?
Yeah, I think one of the things Coach Mitchell and Coach A-Rod advocate for is playing free and playing to your strength in your game, and that's off-platform throws and making plays. If it's third and whatever, having the capability to use your legs to go get that first down. So I think it's a great scheme, and I think that's why we won a great amount of games last year.
Since you arrived, what have you done to form relationships with the key personnel in this offense to win that locker room?
Yeah, well, we got a big ping pong kind of deal going in the locker room, and then we call it the fun house. It's actually a house probably like a mile away. We go over and play Catan all the time. Forming relationships that way. It's been fun.
What's the story behind wearing number 47?
Yeah, me and my dad joke around. I used to play running back when I was younger, or when I started playing football. And then when I made the transition to quarterback, I just kept the number. And I continued to play actually middle linebacker up until 8th grade. So I don't know, I like the number and kind of brings you back to like your primitive nature, I guess, when you're playing. So it's cool.
So let's get this one out of the way early. Why are you named after an animal?
I can ramble a little. It's a long story. So Tiger's real name is James Florian Bachmeier, and so James, he's the fourth. Tiger's the fourth. James Florian Bachmeier the first is my dad's grandpa, and he was a fighter pilot. He smoked those unfiltered Camels, and his voice was deep. So my dad growing up, his grandpa, so my great grandpa James the first, would always go tell my dad, like, get over here, Tiger. And my dad always thought that was cool. He named James the fourth Tiger when he had a kid, and then he said the best one's got to be named Bear. So.
What is it like having your brother here to go through this?
It's been great. I mean, the relationship that we have is he's my brother. We live together, and growing up, we kind of did everything together, and so reliving the glory days from high school to college. So I think it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, what do you do with your brother to learn the playbook?
Yeah, so he's smart. I like to think I'm smarter, but we kind of, he'll quiz me, I'll quiz him, and I think that's kind of helping us, even expedite our learning process within the playbook.
What went into the decision to leave Stanford in the first place?
Yeah, I love my time at Stanford. Obviously, some circumstances arose with, Coach leaving, and I'm here now, so I'm really excited.
You had your older brother Hank, who just recently finished his college career. Have you been able to learn things from his journey through Boise and Louisiana Tech and Wake and everything?
Yeah, I got a text this morning actually, and just I'm very fortunate to have him, and he's obviously played a lot of ball. He's got a lot of experience. So I'm just trying to be a sponge with him, and obviously he's passing down a lot of knowledge to me, and I'm trying to soak it up as much as I can. It's a great asset to have.
As a fresh,
what are your impressions of the offensive personnel around you in this offense?
Yeah, I think we got dogs. I think I think it starts up front, and we got guys that can go. They can move the line of scrimmage. I think we have the number one tailback in the country, and we got guys on the perimeter that can go. So I think we're in a great spot.
As a freshman, how do you gain the trust of the rest of the team and exert your leadership ability?
Yeah, I think I think when it's kind of like your innate kind of behavior and that natural behavior and having command and commanding presence in the weight room and off the field, and obviously you got to perform.
There's Bear Bachmeier, and finally, we will let you guys hear from Treyson Bourguet, and I can just say this. He may be the guy that many people think is the odd man out in this competition because he's not necessarily the most fleet of foot of the trio that is contending for the starting quarterback job, but he is not backing down from the fight, and he'll explain why next, right here on Locked On Cougars. Thank you once again for making Locked On Cougars your first listen of the day. If you have not done so already, sign up for the Locked On Cougars Insider Group. Get all the inside notes I've got for you guys coming out of each practice availability that we'll have during training camp and even during the season. It's all the insider intel that you crave, and the best part is you get a 2-week free trial before you charge a single penny. It's just $5 a month after that to be a part of the Insider Group. Click the link in the show notes below, get all the updates that you crave, and do it with the Locked On Cougars Insider Group. All right, the final of the 3 media interviews with BYU's quarterback trio was Treyson Bourguet, and I'll just say this. This is a young man who is not backing down, and he has every intention of making this an absolute fight because, simply put, he came to BYU simply looking to even be on the team, because many of you might recall, some of you might not, and he'll explain a little bit more why BYU was so attracted to him when he transferred from Western Michigan, and quite frankly, why he transferred to BYU without any guarantee to even be on the team. So without further ado, here's Treyson Bourguet on where he thinks he stacks up in this QB battle.
Trey, obviously there's a well-publicized quarterback competition that's just begun. How do you evaluate it, all kind of on an equal level, and how do you plan on separating yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all of us in the quarterback room, all 4 of us are trying to compete, win the starting job, obviously, but the person who does that is the person who, competes the hardest, gets the job done, obviously taking the easy completions, moving the ball, and scoring touchdowns.
What do you want to show personally?
I just want to show that I'm more than capable of doing everything on the field, whether that's, running for 10 yards, throwing for 15 yards on a play, or even taking the easy completion for 5 yards. Whatever it is, I'm going to get the job done.
Do you have a style of quarterback you identify yourself as, a dual threat or anything like that?
I'm just quarterback. I'm out there. I'm going to go sling the ball. I'm going to make a play. If I got to run, I'm going to run. I'm going to pick up first downs and score some touchdowns.
Where's your comfort level with the playbook and the offense after being in the program for a year, kind of sitting and watching what Jake had done and the other guys had done last year?
Absolutely, I'm very comfortable. This is the most confident and comfortable I've been in the system my whole career. I mean, coming from freshman year in high school, throughout my senior year in high school, I had a different offense every single year. Then going to college, I was at Western Michigan for 2 years, 2 different coaches. Then here last year, so that's my 3rd offense in college. So now it's finally having some continuity in my offense, and feel super confident, got good timing down with the receivers, and just ready to work.
Is it kind of a relief to have kind of some continuity for a change?
Absolutely, yes sir.
How do you guys push each other? I mean, you're all friends, obviously. You always want to help the team, but there's a competition. How do you guys push each other?
Yeah, I mean, we're all really good friends off the field, on the field, in the classroom, in the meeting room, whatever it is. We all get along very, very well, but we're all competitors in whatever it is, whether we're drawing up plays on the whiteboard or watching film. We're all competing in whatever it is, but it's a good competition.
What did you learn from Jake last year watching him?
How to win football games. That this first time I got to watch, sitting on the sidelines, a quarterback win 11 games. That's hard to do, especially in the Big 12. And so he's a competitor. The guy can grit out some wins, make some big throws, make some big time runs, take some hits, get right back up. Love Jake.
Is there something you're focusing on coming into camps that you want to get better at?
Yeah, I just want to continue to show that I'm worthy to play at this level. Big 12, that's one of the best conferences in the country, and I want to just continue to show that I'm ready for this level of competition, and I can go out there and compete with the best.
Can you clarify? Oh, go ahead, Mitch.
When you left Western Michigan, why were you so passionate to come to BYU as a walk-on and be part of this program?
Yeah, absolutely. I got opportunities to go elsewhere in the portal. Coming from the Midwest in Michigan, it was some really good moments. Also some moments where I was feeling, like, dang, I miss home. I miss playing in front of my family. I miss, my loved ones coming to watch me play. It was really hard for them to go out to Michigan every weekend to go watch me play. And so I wanted to go somewhere where, I can feel the love. I can feel the family environment. I can have my family come and watch my games. I can also, visit home whenever I need to. And heck, we play in Tucson this year, so to play in front of my family, I could never turn that down. So walk on, scholarship, whatever it is, as long as I get my foot in the door, I'm going to make it worth it.
I had a similar question with you.
Camp, and did you work out with anybody, and did you go anywhere to work out?
Yeah, I worked out with a lot of the receivers each and every week, trying to get our timing down, and obviously didn't get much reps with them my first year here. And then, Coach John Beck, awesome, 3D QB, definitely got some work in with him over this summer, and just trying to figure everything out mechanically, just nail it all in, dial it up, and get ready for camp.
What kind of insights did he have for you working with him? Did he kind of open your eyes to maybe something you hadn't seen before with your mechanics and motion and everything?
Yeah, he's somebody who studied it for years upon years upon years, and he's also done it. He's been on the field and done it. So just to see it from his eyes and hear it from his mouth, it's definitely game changing.
Is there any new receivers coming in that's impressed you or that maybe has opened your eyes a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, day one, I feel like a lot of the receivers were just kind of getting their feet wet, making plays. As we go on through camp, we'll kind of see more and more. But I'm super excited for all the newcomers. It's going to be an exciting time.
What did Roderick lay out to you and the rest of the quarterbacks is what it's going to take to win this job?
Yeah, the person who just moves the ball, got to make plays, just distribute the ball, get first downs, score touchdowns. I mean, whatever you need in the quarterback, I feel like all of us have the capability of doing it. So whoever goes out and shows it, that's who you're going to be seeing on Saturdays.
Are you going to be sick of asking who's going to be the starter when you're around campus, around your friends? Are you going to be glad when this whole thing is over?
I mean, I'm just happy to be in the competition.
Last question.
Has your mindset changed from spring, obviously, when you were competing for what looked like a backup job, to now you're actually in the running for the starting job?
Not at all. I mean, you can ask anybody on the team or my family. Like I've always been very confident in my abilities. So whether it was competing for the third string, or when I first got here last spring, competing for a scholarship, to now competing for the starting position, it's the same mindset every single day. You want to go out there and do your best. You don't want to settle for average. You want to be the best at what you're doing, whether that's being the best at signaling, being the best at running third team offense, being the best at running the first team offense. Whatever it is, you want to be the best at it, and that's what I strive to do.
There you have it. That's Treyson Bourguet. Big thank you to Treyson Bourguet, McCae Hillstead, and Bear Bachmeier for taking time to talk to the media today. I figured I'd throw all three of them right there for you guys so you could watch every single one of them talk about why they think they can, why they think that they have what it takes to end up as BYU starting quarterback to succeed Jake Retzloff in that position and hopefully lead BYU to some glory in 2025. We'll have more editions like this in the incoming days when BYU has media availability and the like. But as always, thank you for making Locked On Cougars your first listen of the day. And once again, thank you for making Locked On Cougars and the Locked On Podcast Network a part of your routine and being everydayers with us right here on the Locked On Cougars podcast.